Hello, everyone. This is Truth, Beer, and Consequences, episode 25.5.
It is. We're actually doing kind of an official intro to our .5 this week, which is a little odd, but we had thoughts and we had ideas, and we wanted to share them with you, our listeners, because it is an incredibly exciting time in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, we don't talk about the sports balls that much, but Julia, something pretty cool. I mean, just almost legendary happened this past weekend as we record on a Tuesday. This past Saturday, the Bengals won their first playoff game in 31 years.
There was an amazing picture on social media that I wish I would have saved. I'm sure I can find it if I look. But it was Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow standing next to each other with the numbers 9 and 1. 91 was the last time that we won a playoff game.
Whoa.
So like you said, it has been a hell of a long time. So we wanted to take a few minutes of your time because beer and sports often go hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure.
So we wanted to do just a quick .5 episode, an episode after the episode. So this is not about big beer events. This is not that kind of .5, but an episode after the episode where we talk a little bit about the Bengals and our excitement about the upcoming playoff game between them and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, and so I'm not a Cincinnati native, but I don't root against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, born and bred. But, I mean, why would I root against the Bengals, right? I mean,
they're the hometown team.
Other than the fact, other
that
than if they're playing against the Saints, I'm not going to root against them. So this is exciting. They're playing the Tennessee Titans. So the Tennessee Titans, everyone knows, or maybe you don't know, the Tennessee Titans used to be the Houston Oilers.
Yeah, I remember when they played as the Oilers.
Yeah,
I am that old.
They were the Houston Oilers up until 1996. They became the Tennessee Oilers 1997 and 1998. Then they became the present day Tennessee Titans 1999 to present.
I didn't realize that they were the Tennessee Oilers for a while. I wasn't aware of that particular change. I mean, I say big into football. My neighbors across the street growing up were huge into the Dolphins and the Packers, mostly the Packers, and then their son, who was a couple years younger than me, decided he loved the Dolphins and everything that they were doing. So I used them as kind of my intro to the sports ball.
Okay.
And then kind of fell out of it once, got closer to high school, that kind of stuff. And then once I got older into adulthood, was like, I miss watching these games. This is amazing. Let's do it. So I wasn't aware that it used to be the Tennessee Oilers for a brief period of time.
Well, we're going to be your one-stop shop for pre-game information here.
Hell yeah.
That's I mean, we don't do this all the time, but here on Truth Beer Pod, never done it.
Yeah,
never
first
done
time for
it.
everything.
Don't know if we're ever going to do it again.
True, but this is a moment in history, so we wanted to capitalize upon it, get those extra downloads, and say, look, our sports ball team is doing really fucking good for the first time in a very long time.
Long time.
And we want to support them and cheer for them and talk about them. So the Bengals have been around for quite a while, 53, 54 years. They used to be, when I kind of got into the sports ball, it was during kind of the Carson Palmer era. So we made it to the playoffs.
Man.
But we never won anything. So it's one of those, we were so close.
That year that Carson Palmer got hurt versus the Steelers and knocked him out, that was the Bengals year. I mean, you had TJ, Who's Your Mama? You had Chad Johnson.
I remember the
Carson
days when
Palmer.
people said you weren't a true fan unless you could spell Hujmanzada without looking it up. And Chad Johnson, Ochocinco, he is still one of my favorite Bengals players. One, he was an excellent player, but he was so entertaining to watch, and I know that turned a lot of people off, just his kind of antics, but I mean, hell, when half of the game is them standing around waiting for a call, waiting to reset up the snap, you only have a grand total of maybe 30 minutes of total actual active ball in motion play time in the entire 4 hours it's on TV. Ocho Cinco was always a joy to watch. Yeah.
And I can remember maybe '04. I can remember I lived in Orlando. And then I came up ahead of my family, and I was in a hotel watching the playoff game where Ben Roethlisberger.
Fuck the Steelers.
Ben Roethlisberger just, God, the receiver, not Chad Ochocinco, but I mean Terrell Owens.
Oh, T.O., yeah.
I mean that happened.
That dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was that Super Bowl, and I was in a hotel watching that happen, and I can remember that it was a winter wonderland. It was frosty, icy outside here in Cincinnati. Like I had my supervisor driving me around, and I can remember icicles coming off of the road signs.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking, what the hell did I just agree to do to come up here? I mean, this place is fucking cold. And I can remember Ben Roethlisberger doing that sort of
raping
stuff. Yeah, raping. The raping. I remember then, and I remember the Ocho Cinco, T.J. Houshmandzadeh. I remember that.
It was a great era.
That era.
It was a great era.
They were primed. They were primed for greatness, and then Carson Palmer. Look, I'm not throwing shade or anything like that. My father was a Steelers fan.
I'm sorry.
I'm
glad you grew up to be a better man than he. Nothing
Julia,
against your father. Julia, I love your father.
Julia, no, don't do that. And I have you have no idea how much that first comment means to me. And by the way, you don't need to love my father. End of story. But anyway,
long pause.
Yeah, my father had a longing to own a terrible towel. Ooh. And I just say you're a terrible father. I remember these things, right?
Yeah,
and coming up here, I saw snow before my family saw snow. I mean, we were driving up from Florida, and my children that were born at the time saw snow for the first time coming up. So we're giving you this is where you come, your authority for the Bengals Titans preview.
Yes.
And so we're going to give it to you.
Yes.
Here we go. It's going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. So we're going to give you the preview. Julia, what uniforms are the Bengals wearing for this their legendary postseason
game
performance?
I am glad you asked that, because I have insider information that you cannot find anywhere else except for the Bengals official Facebook page on what the Bengals will be wearing when they play the Titans this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. They're going to be in not quite their all-white outfits, but they're going to be wearing the white jerseys, the white pants, and then the orange helmets, which I love. I'm hoping they keep the orange socks. I feel like they've been doing incredibly well when they wear the orange socks with any of the uniform combos, but that's not listed. So we have orange helmet, white jersey, white pants. The picture shows black socks, but I'm hoping that they switch that to orange, because again, orange socks have been getting the job done.
Yeah, orange socks have been getting the job done.
They really
Hashtag orange socks been getting the job done.
Yes.
Julia, I'm going to give you an appropriate amount of time to find out what jersey or what kit, as they say in soccer, the Titans are going to wear. White.
So tell us about, while I look that up, how about you let us know, because I know that we talked about this in our pre-production meeting, about home field advantage, inside field versus outside exposure field. So I want you to tell us a little bit about what we might see when they play in Tennessee at the Titans, with Titans having quote unquote a home field advantage.
Yeah, but it's not a dome.
It's not. That's why I use the air quotes.
It's in Tennessee, so no dome in Tennessee. Don't know what the weather's going to be because I haven't Googled the weather. What I'm going to assume is that the weather is going to be seasonable, and seasonable in Tennessee. I mean, what are we talking about? Cold temperatures, just above freezing.
It'll be similar to Cincinnati.
Not freezing, but just above freezing, and I think that actually favors the Bengals because the Tennessee Titans are soft from a weather perspective, and I don't want you to at me. I just want you to know that our weather gets tougher than your weather, and so I don't mean that in a non-masculine way, although there's nothing wrong with being soft. I'm just saying that the weather is softer than Cincinnati. I'm not saying you personally are softer than Cincinnatians on the air or reported or recorded podcasts.
So this is something very interesting, Marco.
Okay.
The Titans have not released, and I'll call them kits because that is a very apropos name for them. They have not released their uniform combo for Saturday, which means they are not confident in what their team is going to be wearing. They don't feel like they have a statement to be made the same way that the Bengals do.
Yeah,
I will say that I'm looking up the weather in Nashville for Saturday. It will be a high of 37 degrees and a low of 19 degrees. So with the game starting at 4:30 Eastern time.
Should be high.
It should be still about 37, 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And then it'll be maybe 30 by the time the game concludes, which is prime Bengals weather.
Yeah.
If you look at Bengals as an animal, Bengal tigers do tend to do better in slightly cooler climates, even though they are a warm, if you look at it, technically speaking, from warmer weather. But man, they are at their prime, Cincinnati Bengals specifically, at their prime in those slightly above freezing temperatures. So I think that this says we are going to crush it.
And I agree because from a Titan standpoint, I mean, the Titan, I think, Clash of the Titans, which was a very early,
I love the original movie. Yeah.
Was it in the 70s or
70s?
80s?
Yeah.
And so that was a very temperate climate, I mean, with togas. And so temperate climate togas doesn't really lend itself to sub 40 temperatures.
Basically freezing, like at that freezing.
I mean, in a toga, you're going to be cold at 37 degrees.
Now,
and what is a Titan exactly? I think that's a broad statement. And I also think that from broad statement,
it allows a whole lot of margin for error.
Yeah, a margin. Yeah, exactly, a margin. What's a Titan? I just not exactly certain, but what I'm certain is it has not been proven in colder temperatures.
Correct.
And so, I mean, that just is another way to lend itself to a Bengals advantage.
Right, and I follow. If you know anything about the Bengals fandom, Bengal Jim, who has been one of the top Bengals fans for millennia, it feels like, for the, days upon days upon days. He was the Bengals fan of the year last week. He got right. Well, no, I apologize. Icky Woods was like the fan of the match for last week. The week prior, the first actual, getting into the playoff games was Bengal Jim. Follow him on Twitter. People have been tweeting at him to let them know about, hey, this is the section that we got tickets in for the game in Nashville. Cincinnati has a huge, huge, huge number of fans going down to Nashville, to the game.
Would you say huge?
Huge.
So it would be
huge. The hugest of huge.
Huge.
Now, from what I am seeing on official channels, and by official, I mean Local 12, Ticketmaster, the game at the Titan Stadium is sold out. So please, if you're trying to get tickets, be careful where you're buying your tickets. We do not want anyone to get scammed if you're planning on heading down to Nashville. I think that Cincinnati is going to have a huge presence in the Titan Stadium. I think you are going to see an amazing sea of orange and black there. And to be perfectly honest with you, like I'm not like a superstitious person, but there is like a gut feeling that I just feel good about our team this season. I feel like, as Uzama has said, why not us? Why not this year? Why not the Cincinnati Bengals?
Sure.
I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and I mean, my God,
all the LSU
everyone,
alum,
the entire
just
LSU
love
alumni,
all the
alumni.
LSU alum.
There may be, in addition to orange and black, that purple and yellow wave of LSU may also be a huge presence in the Titans Stadium.
Be still
That
my
is,
heart.
I was just going to say, Margaret, that should
Be still my heart.
touch you in places that I can't mention here on the podcast.
That's right.
But it is
Feeling my plums.
But no, this is such an exciting time as a Cincinnati sports fan to see our team doing such amazing things, and it is. I mean, it's weird, but I just have this almost like Joe Burrow, just this kind of calm, this almost peaceful sense of I'm not worried about Saturday. I am not worried about what's to come. What's going to happen is going to happen. I know that we have the talent on the team to do anything that the team wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, and let's talk about it. I mean, a Bengal versus the Titan. I mean, you got your black and orange, right, for Bengal Tigers.
Yeah, and then you have your blue and your light blue and your
What the
faint
fuck is a
traces of
Titan?
red.
I mean, what are you talking
I
about,
don't know.
Titan?
Like, if they would have said Trojans, I would have been like, yeah, that's a fake thing. There's nothing inside.
Yeah, it's a
It doesn't
condom.
contain-
I mean, what are you
But-
talking about? Or like
but a
people in
Titan-
togas.
Yeah, but a Titan, I mean, Titans are...
The fuck is a Titan?
It's
I mean,
a
we talked about.
mythological- it's
Well, we
mythological.
talked
It
about it a
doesn't
little bit, like
exist.
Clash of the Titans and like somebody in a toga and
So-
survive Medusa's like look and all
Ooh.
that other shit.
Are Titans actually just really annoying mechanical owls?
Or Titans, just another way of talking about women's pantyhose.
Oh, those aren't Titan-esque as well. Although they rip and run very easily, so maybe it is a good analogy to say that the Bengals will cause the Nashville team to run and be completely useless within 5 minutes of getting to your destination.
Or a vehicle for Derrick Henry. I worry about that guy.
I
mean,
you're not wrong.
That's a monster.
You're not wrong.
He is a Titan.
He is.
Actually,
Yeah.
he's a Titan.
You got a point there. But you know what? They have a Henry. We have a Burrow. And I'm sorry, but
And I love that our number one receiver has Chase on his uniform because that's what you need to do to try and catch him.
More than that, I love that our fucking quarterback doesn't even need his name on the back of his jersey to make shit happen. He does not need to be Joe Burrow. He is Cincinnati. He is the Bengals. It's not about him. It is about his team and the team and the city as a whole. And I will also just say, since I'm talking about the city, you know how...
Do it, Julia.
So
Bring
Zach
it.
Taylor...
Here she comes.
Zach Taylor gave game balls to the city of Cincinnati. He dropped off 3, I believe, game balls to different...
He dropped his balls.
Bars. He dropped his ball at different bars around the city of Cincinnati after the game. One of those bars... There was a miscommunication because of how incredibly loud the celebration was. He kind of threw the ball kind of into the crowd, which I think was a little bit of a bad play on his part. He should have handed it directly to the manager of the establishment. But this person that grabbed the ball,
Oh, wait a minute.
all they could really hear...
Did Mike McCarthy tell him to do that? I mean,
I'm not naming names, but they kind of tossed
so it sounds like a Mike McCarthy play.
Close, not quite. Toss the ball into the crowd like, this ball is like one of 3 for the city of Cincinnati. The fans deserve this. They deserve a playoff win. They deserve to have a team to be proud of. And again, we've been proud of the team for a while, mostly kind of the Palmer era because, again, we got to the playoffs with that.
That was a good
The
era.
Dalton era, I love Andy Dalton as a person, as a quarterback. He was just okay. But the Burrow area,
Look,
era,
there's
is
nothing wrong with
spectacular.
being the 10th, 12th, 15th best quarterback out of 32.
It's still leaps and bounds above anything that I could ever. You saw me
There-
trying to foul, whatever.
There's
at
only
the folding
32 of
warehouse.
these
I can't-
jobs.
Yeah.
And
Well, with backups, you got to live.
no. There's only 32 starting jobs.
True.
And
Very true.
what ends up happening is if you're not in the top, 12, you're always on the seat to get replaced.
This is true.
And I mean it's the hardest position in sports.
Oh God, yeah.
And
I think quarterback and kicker, you get blamed. You get either blamed or praised for everything,
for sure.
regardless of what happens.
Oh, for sure. And the other thing is, I can't believe that
it's not butter.
Sports ball teams don't draft fantastic, amazing kickers higher than they do because they depend on them
Oh God, yeah.
to win everything for them.
McPherson and Huber deserve so. I mean, McPherson has gotten so much well-deserved praise. Like Kevin Huber and stuff like that. If all you're doing, or like if most of your job is punting and not necessarily making the field goals, I do feel like you said, you're kind of left behind as, yeah, we'll draft you last. You play those key roles that you don't realize are key roles until it's time, until that 59th second, and then it's all about the kicker, the punter, the McPhersons, the Hubers. Fat Randy, we love you, but we're kind of glad that you're not randying it up anymore. But
Okay.
it's fine. But no, kind of going back to the whole game ball thing from Zach Taylor and going to the team. Like, he gave 3 of the game balls to Cincinnati taverns, not tap rooms, but like bars for the city of Cincinnati to be displayed in these places around town. And it was so incredibly crazy and loud. He threw one of these game balls out into the crowd instead of handing it to a member of management. The fan got the ball, and everyone's like, oh, cool, you got the ball. This is so awesome. Took pictures with him. And again, he didn't hear what Zach had to say because Zach didn't have a microphone. And so he thought, oh, cool, I got the ball. And he left with it.
Sorry about that.
And so the tavern's like, hey, if you took this, would you mind returning it? The fan, this speaks volumes about the quality of Cincinnati fans. You would never see a Steelers fan doing this.
Yeah, I joked about that. That was not me.
No,
But
it could have been Marco, but it wasn't. This fan called the tavern and said, holy cow, that was me. I have the ball. I am so sorry. It was a misunderstanding. And he returned it. He didn't have to do that. He could have just said, I'm not saying anything, and I'm keeping, I think it was like 2 out of the 3. Like there was, ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. So much like Chris, he could have, had just a single ball in his possession
yes.
at any point in time. But he was the better man. He was the true sports ball fan. And he is returning that because he realized this wasn't intended to be a gift to the random person here that caught it. So,
or the one that doesn't have
a match,
2 testicles.
a pair. Yeah, he couldn't make a pair out of it, so he's like, fuck it, I'll give it back.
Yeah.
But seriously, I am so incredibly excited about Saturday. I know that, Marco, you said you're going to be here at BC's Bottle Lodge Montgomery watching the game.
I am.
Potentially.
So I work in my full-time job till about 4:30ish. I'm going to come here.
Okay.
I'm going to post up here at BC's Bottle Lodge.
I'm going to see what my Josh and I are doing, and if schedules work out, I would love to be here with you watching it because holy crap, being in a place, drinking beer, screaming with other fans, I don't know what could be more exciting. All white kits except for the socks and the helmets. We are going to have a temperature advantage. Maybe not a home field advantage, but a temperature advantage. Man, I cannot wait to drink amazing Cincinnati craft beer, cheering on our amazing Cincinnati Bengals. And here's hoping we get to the next stage of the playoffs. Here's hoping for a division win.
For sure. And totally excited. And this is, again, not usually what we do. But
these are unprecedented times.
Unprecedented times. And so totally fun, Julia.
Yeah.
You know, we've already cheersed and congratulated and you know, signed off on our regular pod.
Yep.
This is our point 5. And what I'd say is, you know what?
You know what?
I think we covered it. You know, let's
end with a Bengals cheer.
Okay.
You want to do
Let's
it?
go. Do. I mean,
Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody.